If you're a fitness coach, we all know that feeling of having a couple calls on your calendar, being super excited to jump on those calls, and then none of them close. They hit you with the "I want to think about it" objection, or they're financially unqualified, or they can't afford it. And then we're pissed. We're sitting there like, oh my God, I was looking forward to these, and now it's trash. Like, what's going on? Okay? What I'm going to explain to you guys today is exactly what I did personally to go from taking 15 to 20 meetings a day with a lot of unqualified people, scaling up the same way everyone else told me by just get more meetings, pump the meetings into the calendar, okay? To being precise with attraction, okay? Before I was trying to take unqualified and make them qualified through sales and techniques and stuff like that, while I could have just went to the root of the cause of attraction and learn how to properly adapt my messaging, if it's through content, ads, etc., to properly attract people. So today, I'm gonna walk you guys through the exact thing that you guys are gonna need in order to just attract the type of people you wanna work with. And trust me, if you are getting bad people, it's not a qualification thing, it's not a targeting issue, it is the problem that I'm gonna walk you guys through in this video. So stay tuned, you're gonna love this, and I hope you guys get value from this. All right, so a lot of you guys are running, let's say, different sorts of methods or funnels or processes to get clients, if that's through ads, if that's through content, etc. Okay? And a lot of the times, what will happen is you'll get bad quality leads, okay? Or, barely any meetings, barely any leads in general, okay? Or just people who maybe, aren't financially qualified or whatever it is. And you'll say something like, oh, my targeting's bad. Or, oh, these people aren't in my niche, or these people aren't qualified financially, or my targeting is off. What's going on here? And what happens is we truly believe that it's like a targeting issue, okay? Like the problem we're experiencing is at the problem, okay? Like, oh, my ads are picking up people who aren't qualified, therefore there's a problem with the ads, right? It's like the platform is targeting some random group of people that has nothing to do with, the ad messaging in general, okay? Or they even will go as far as saying, ads don't work, or content doesn't work, or, organic content only attracts these sort of people, or ads only attract these sort of people, okay? This includes people, for example, who have a lot of followers, get a lot of impressions, but aren't getting any buyers, okay? It's, oh, because my content is attracting the wrong sort of people, even though they're getting massive amounts of followers, massive amounts of views, but I'm not targeting correctly, okay? Or the algorithm is sabotaging me, okay? This is things that people will say a lot of the time and I've heard forever, okay? Being in this space for a long time. So in this video, what I'm going to explain to you guys is that targeting is not something to worry about ever, and why you most likely have a messaging problem. If you're not getting good quality leads, if you're not getting qualified people who are genuinely interested in your solution, if it's fitness coaching, if it's coaching in general, if it's whatever sort of business you're doing online and you're trying to get clients and you're persistently trying to get impressions on something, if that's through organic content or whatever, and you're not getting these sort of people, then you have a messaging problem, okay? The thing that I've realized after working specifically in the fitness coaching space for over 4 years, generating over 50K a month, is that most coaches think that the problem is the problem, okay? What I mean by that is the problem happens at the problem. I know this may sound a little bit like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about, okay? But what I mean by this is that most coaches believe that if they have like one thing, like, oh, if I just have targeting, for example, then, everything will fix itself and I'll make 100 times more money and everything will be so much easier in terms of reaching their goals. That one thing can be anything that they believe to be true. For example, oh, we just need to crack organic content and we'll have some viral videos. Or, oh, once we get 2 meetings every day, we'll be making over 50K a month, right? And you'll see a lot of guys actually, when they have these problems, like the sellers of this, like, for example, if I'm selling fitness coaching, okay, and I know that most fitness coaches, like if I'm selling fitness coaching consulting to fitness coaches, and I know that most fitness coaches think that, oh, I just need to go viral in order to make more money, then what am I going to say? I'm just going to say, oh, here's how to go viral, right? Most fitness coaches truly believe that they just need more meetings to get, more client, or to pretty much make more money. Then I'm going to sell meetings. I'm not going to sell you growth. I'm not going to sell you anything else. I'm just going to, or strategy. I'm just going to say, hey, here's meetings. I'm going to help you get meetings, even if they're trash meetings. You see people flexing meetings online as well. Oh, yeah, here's how to get 50 meetings a day. It's like, cool. There was a point in my business where we were doing like 15, 20 meetings a day. like actually amongst a couple closers. And sure, it may on paper sound good, but most of the time that is an incongruency with, actually making money. Okay, because it's not hard to generate meetings. It's hard to educate people properly and have people genuinely interested, which we're going to be talking about today. Okay, and what you have to realize is the information and beliefs you have that got you here will simply not get you to the next level. Okay, so you have this belief of, oh yeah, I need this one thing. Oh, I just need my targeting to work and then I'm going to make money. This is how most people think. Okay, you got to realize the average fitness coach makes $2,000 a month. That's doing this as a full-time career. And the biggest problem that separates people who can make it to $50,000 a month versus people who can't make it past $10,000 a month is that people focus on one problem rather than looking at the entire scope of everything holistically. Okay, what I mean by this is, let's say you're having an issue with your lead quality. You're just generating bad people who are coming and clicking on your ads. For example, you're getting a lot of broke people, people who aren't within your niche, etc. 99% of coaches will, for example, go to the root of the problem and add in more qualifications in their form. Oh, I just have to qualify these people more. Before they book a call, they have to fill out this qualification thing, and then that's just going to get people who are more interested. Okay? Then after doing this, they'll realize that they're simply getting 0 meetings. Like it just dropped off. They had no qualification, now they do, now they're just not getting any meetings. And that's the mistake right there. Going to the branch of the problem and not the root of the problem is the issue. I know I put root here, but I meant branch. Okay? So what I mean by this is, if you have an issue, it's caused by something that happened before the issue occurred. If you have a pain, for example, in your lower back, you're not going to go and massage your lower back. The pain in lower back in most cases is actually caused by lack of glute strength and lack of abdominal strength, balancing out the lower back. Okay? Most people, oh yeah, I'm just going to massage my lower back. I'm going to do some lower back movements. Doesn't do anything. Okay, that's how a lot of you guys are thinking, especially with targeting and trying to increase lead quality. Okay, another example of this is lots of coaches truly think that the thing stopping them from making more money is simply leads. They think, oh, if I 10x the amount of leads I have, I'll 10x my business. Okay, then they'll start trying to get more leads without any mind for other factors such as lead quality, education, sales ability, like their personal sales ability, etc. Oh, I'm just going to get more leads. Okay, another example of this is coaches think that when they get a prospect to the end of the sales call and they tell them that they want to think about it, they simply have to get better at objection handling. When you get on a sales call, the prospect says, oh, I want to think about it. You truly believe that you have to deal with that objection and that there's not a problem here. You don't stop and think, well, why did I get that objection in the first place? Why is this person saying I want to think about it? You, if you're getting objections, that objection is caused by what happened before you getting the objection. Maybe in the sales call, maybe in your marketing systems, maybe they're not educated enough, maybe your niche is bad. So many things kind of incongruency leading up to this moment. Most people think, oh, I'm just going to go solve the objection. I'm going to learn how to objection handle. I'm going to learn how to deal with the I want to think about it objection rather than, right, trying to go to the root of the problem. Okay, stepping back and trying to stop it from happening in the future. Okay? How do you prevent objections from happening ever? Okay? Then you got to focus on what happens before objections would even occur in the first place. Okay? All in all, what it looks like is, let me just zoom in on this. All in all, your business is this diagram right here. This is the entirety of a coaching business. You have your market that you're in, okay? You have your offer, you have your messaging about that offer, the impressions you're getting on that, okay? Now you're getting leads. You got to nurture the leads. You got to book the leads. The leads got to show up. You got to close the leads. Then once they close, now you got to onboard them. Okay, you got to begin them on some sort of plan. Okay, you got to deliver results, and then you got to retain the client. Okay, so it starts off with a prospect, okay, within a niche, turning into a client that stays with you long term. Okay, most people, like I'm saying, think, oh, I am experiencing a problem with lead volume. I know I kind of started this video with like messaging, which I'm going to talk about later, but like lead volume. Oh, I just need more leads. Therefore, I have to just spend more money on ads. I have to make more content, do more volume. Okay? Why don't we go back before the leads? Okay, well, are you getting, is your messaging good? Is your offer good? Are you in a good niche? Because those happen before. Okay, for example, onboarding and client fulfillment is largely dictated by the sales process. Okay? What's the number one way to indicate if someone will be successful in a program? That's based off of how much money they're going to pay to join the program, because price and commitment go hand in hand. Okay? So each step, what I'm trying to portray to you guys is each step is dictated by the previous step. Okay? You have to look holistically about this. Okay? So what I'm about to share with you guys now is exactly what I've implemented in over 100 coaching businesses in the last 12 months that allow them to scale effortlessly, playing a game of power, not force, allowing them to charge anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 up front without having to learn every single sales tactic in the book, surface level band-aids, okay? Without learning, I just have to target people better, and I have to add more qualification to my type form, or I have to have a better conversation with them in the DMs, okay? To keep up with, uninterested people, pretty much. Okay? So let's talk about kind of the solution. So on a general level, everything that happens, like I said, can be traced back to an earlier stage. 90% of the problems I listed at the start of this about targeting, bad lead quality, etc., are usually found in the messaging. Cause and effect. Okay? And when I say messaging, okay, that is how the foundation of your business philosophy, like what you talk about in your ads, what you talk about in your content, your offer go hand in hand with messaging, how that resonates with people. I'm going to talk about this later a little bit in this video as well, okay? So this is a new insight that I've gotten recently when I've slowly come to the realization that your niche and market matter a lot. Yes, I'm not doubting that. But once you're in a niche, okay, it's pretty simple. Once you're in a niche with a decently large TAM, market size, okay, the niche has money, okay, and the niche is on social media, meaning you can make content, you can make ads, okay, then the only other problem now is serving the correct messaging to get them to be interested. That's it. Once you have that locked in, the only other step is feeding that niche the correct message. It's like a key that has to fit into the door to open the door. Okay? For example, choose which girl you find interesting. Okay? The quiet antisocial girl, the extroverted girl, the foreign girl, the girl who likes rap music. These are all different markets. For example, there's no bad market here. Okay? They're all good markets that you can choose. But the success you have in these markets will be based on how you interact and adapt your messaging and style depending on who you are appealing to. Because your top of funnel messaging determines your bottom of funnel success. Okay, I hope this analogy makes sense. There's no really, there are bad markets, like I said, that don't have these sort of base level factors. But once you have a couple, then it's pretty much fitting the key into the door and opening the door. Okay? You can't be like, the door's broken. Targeting. I have to do these surface level. Find the right key to open the door. Okay? And this solves everything below later on in the sales process. Solve messaging. Honestly, if you solve messaging, you will solve everything else. Because once you have your niche, messaging is the one key that will open everything else in terms of lead volume, nurturing leads, booking more leads into your calendar, success even as well, because that's based off of surface level interest. You got to think as well. We're humans. I will make an impression of somebody instinctually based off of the first 30 seconds of me meeting that person. Okay? So very similar to business in this level of kind of in this train of thought. Okay? Because you'll get more people who feel resonated with, and that this is for them and them only, and B, more opt-ins for that niche, and C, inherently higher lead quality and interest level. Okay? So if you fix messaging, you fix everything else. And a lot of people think, for my messaging, for whatever, I'm just going to, run a lead magnet. Okay? I'm just going to go and do an Alex Hormozi lead magnet. What I've realized is when people say, okay, I've chosen my market, my messaging just needs to be a good lead magnet. I just got to get a good lead magnet out there, free ebook, free school community, provide value, okay? They do the math that Alex Hormozi did in his $100 million leads book, okay? But the only thing that does is simply get people to have low commitment from the jump. Okay? And technically, you're lowering your perceived value that these people have about you. Every time I've run a lead magnet, yeah, you'll get a lot of opt-ins, but these people aren't genuinely having a burning desire to work with you because you're resonating with them on a messaging level. For example, imagine you're in a relationship with a girl, rather than building a genuine connection, learning about her life, whatever, her personality, you're simply trying to please her by providing value. It's kind of a simp way. To get clients. Okay? Like just get to know her. Be a human. Okay? Everyone's trying to do, oh yeah, here's my fitness free fat loss guide. Okay? And I'm not doubting this. Yes, you'll get more opt-ins. You get more people inquiring. But now you're playing a volume game on low commitment. This is probably one of the worst ways to play business, especially coaching. Okay? Because this is also B2C. Because 95% of people never even look through the lead magnet once they opt in. That's a hard fact. And the 5% that do actually look through, like maybe read a page or watch half of a video or even a quarter of a video, okay, are looking through a lens of extremely low commitment. Even with people who buy courses, like a video course, the completion rate is less than 1%. People who actually invest money. So imagine free lead magnets. Even if your lead magnet is fucking incredible, okay, doesn't really matter. Okay, so let me show you guys an example. Let me show you two examples here. So here's an ad that I ran a long time ago for this was about a couple of years ago. Okay, and this was a lead magnet. Lose 30 pounds for free. Okay, have some copy, pretty much just pushing people that were giving away a free fat loss guide or whatever. Okay, lose 30 pounds for free. We got a ton of leads, $2 a pop, tons of leads. But how many people were genuinely interested, you think? How many people you think clicked on this ad, and we called them, and we're like, oh yeah, I've been waiting for your call, I'm super interested? Not that much, okay? I'm going to show you another one of my clients. This is a recent client, okay? I want you to just listen to this.
Told yourself that this swing is going to be different, that you'll eat clean, you'll actually train, and you'll finally get in shape. But it never happens. This swing turns into the next swing, then the one after. In the meantime, your gut's growing, your energy's dropping, and your confidence takes a hit every time you see your own reflection. I've been at that exact cycle over and over. So I finally stopped blaming the hours, the mess, the fatigue, and I built a system around it instead. Now I'm in the best shape of my life, and so are dozens of other FIFO lads using this exact same system. Like Mark, Trinity, and Zahn, who all drop.
Okay? So just listen to the first 20 seconds of that. Is he talking about a lead magnet? Is he talking about his offer? Is he saying, hey, here's no. He's talking about their life, their desires, their pain, resonating with them. Okay? So don't look at lead vault, how many leads we're getting. I want you to look or think now that I've showed you these two examples, which one netted a higher ROI? Okay? This client, we're spending about $300 to make $3,000. We have a 10x return on ad spend right now with this ad. Okay? The other one was about a 2x return on ad spend. Not the best. Okay? So you may say, oh yeah, 2x return on ad spend, that's not bad. Okay? But the process can always be more efficient and we can always extract more from less. Okay? Let me come back here. Okay? So overall, if you're not attracting the type of people who are within your niche, it's not because of a bad lead magnet, or you're not providing enough value, or you're not getting enough impressions, views, or clicks, or etc. It's because your messaging is not attracting the people you want. So now let's talk about how you can organize your messaging in whatever niche you're in to attract high quality people that are closable for high ticket packages, $2,000 to $7,000 up front. Okay, for example, this client that I just showed you, the good example, this one right here, he just hit his first 12.5K month. I actually just did an interview with him. You guys should go watch that. I can link that below in the description. And he's crushing it. Okay, very simple sales process. Very simple. And we're not pushing organic content. He actually told me on the interview, he's like, dude, I haven't made a piece of organic content in 2 months. I just didn't need to. Okay? We're just spending money on ads. Okay? The messaging is good. And we're getting a 10x return on ad spend. Okay? Cool. So, let's talk about how you can organize your messaging in order to make simply more money and have people more interested. Okay? So explaining messaging is extremely simple, but it's very hard to execute. Okay? All messaging takes is resonation on 3 different things. Okay? Their current situation, their desired outcome, and desires. Okay, so what they want or what wants they have. Okay? And kind of what's stopping them, like pain point. Okay? What pain points do they have and what desires do they have? Okay? So who do you truly trust the most? Okay? You'd probably say to yourself, I trust myself the most, okay, if you're a human. Okay, the whole point of this is just me kind of showing to you why these 3 things are the things that matter the most, or just matter in general when you're coming to messaging. Okay? So who do you trust the most? You'd probably say to yourself, like, I trust myself the most, of course. Okay? Why do most people trust themselves the most? Okay? Because you know the most about yourself compared to somebody else knowing stuff about you. Okay? So if you can know as much as they know about their desires and pain, okay, your niche, your market, then you could build massive amounts of trust. So trust is built by understanding people, by them feeling understood. Okay? For example, when you go to therapy and the therapist sits there and listens for 95% of the session, okay? And then when they have the full picture of everything bothering their patient, they can then make calculated decisions for them with the trust of knowing everything. And then they're going to listen because that patient has the trust of their therapist. For example, if you're going to go on a date with a girl, I know we're using a lot of dating analogies here, and you know everything about the girl, what she likes, what movies she likes, what food she likes, okay? Do you think that would be an advantage going into the first date? Of course it would, okay? Because you knew you knew about their desires, and now you could situate how you're going to insert the key into the door to open the door. Okay? It's a very simple X times Y equals Z. Okay? And most people in business think they know exactly what their prospects want, okay, what pains they have, etc. And for 90% of coaches, you simply don't know what your prospects want. If you did, you'd be making more money. These are things that you gather through talking with your market and getting down to the core of pain and desire, what they actually genuinely want. And this is a big secret that differentiates people who've been in business for 10 years versus 1. Okay? It's very simple. The longer you're in business for, the more prospects and customers you'll talk to and interact with, and that simply leads to you understanding more about exactly what will resonate with them. The more people you talk with who are in your market, let's say you're helping overweight moms, who are post-menopause, for example, let's say that's a niche. Let's say you talk to 100 of them, you're going to be in a better spot talking to 100 of them rather than 5, or rather than 10. Okay? Why? Because you have more data about their desires, their pains that we're talking about, so that we can use that to our advantage when it comes to ads, okay? Or content, or cold DMs, or whatever thing we're doing to get clients. It really doesn't matter. What matters is how we are portraying that, the messaging, okay? And also just a little tip on this is a lot of prospects and customers will also give you false information when you're talking to people. That's actually not how they feel. For example, if I ask you, why do you want to lose weight, John? Okay? John will respond with, I want to look good and feel good. That's a totally different answer compared to, I've been trying to lose weight for 10 years and I've done 50 different diets and I look at myself in the mirror and I ask myself what my kids will think of me if I were to die early because of the poor habits and lifestyle that I've done over the past 20 years that have accumulated to these health problems. That is deep. So when you're trying to extract things for your messaging, you want to think of how you can extract this deep information from these people so that you can use that for your messaging, okay? And these are all unique to the niche you're in within fitness. Each niche and sub-niche will have different desires and pain points, okay? Each of them, okay? And offer and messaging go hand in hand. People will say, messaging, okay, well, what about my offer? Okay, they go hand in hand. For example, when I first started working with gym owners, one of the first things I did when I kind of switched to marketing and understanding getting clients and stuff like that. I thought gym owners wanted more leads. Okay, I was in a B2B niche, business to business. I was like, gym owners want more leads. So when I was doing my cold calls, I would call the gyms and I'd say, hey, we're guaranteeing 30 leads. barely signed any clients with that. Okay? And then I did more research. My research was just talking to people, understanding what these gym owners actually wanted. And I'm realizing, okay, well, gym owners don't want a spreadsheet with a bunch of leads on it from ads. They want people booked into a calendar for personal training. Gym owners actually make most money from personal training rather than just gym memberships. Okay? They have a lot higher profit margins on a high ticket personal training package. Okay? So what did I do? I simply went to gym owners now and I'm saying, hey, we're going to guarantee you 30 meetings booked per month in your calendar inquiring for a high ticket personal training session. Totally different messaging. What do you think that did for my cold calls now that I'm making that pitch? Okay? Crushes. Right? So these go hand in hand because all business is giving people what they want. Okay? But we have to, it's a problem to figure out what people want. It is. It can be difficult because people will say one thing, like I said before, and want another thing. Okay? And this process is forever continuing. You will always turn over a stone and learn more about your prospects, desires, pains, etc. But from now on, it's your imperative to track everything and start to look for patterns between what people want, what their pain points are, etc. Okay? And when you have a good idea of those things, you can simply plug and play into a source of impressions. How can you get impressions around that message? Content, ads, outreach. Don't overthink it. Okay? With this process, like personally, I prefer to simply use ads due to the fact that, the AI is so darn good with ads in terms of finding the people who the messaging resonates with. Because what the AI algorithm will do with Facebook ads, for example, is it will read all of your text, it will listen to the videos, and it will see, okay, who is most likely to resonate with this. I'm going to feed that message to the niche you're talking about in your ads right there. And you're just pretty much paying money to get meetings and closing those meetings for more than you paid. It's very simple. Okay? And right now, on average with ads, we're getting a $10 cost per lead, $50 cost per book call, $100 cost per showed call, and $200 to $300 cost per close on a $3,000 to $5,000 offer. Okay? For example, client right here just closed a $4,200 PIF right from the ads. Okay? $4,200 paying $200 to $300 to get that return. So if I could tell you right now, hey, if your messaging is good, okay, and you know a lot about your market's pains, desires, etc., and you could pay $300 to make $4K back, $4,200 back, would you do that? Of course. And what would you do with that $4,200? Put it back into ads. Okay? Put $4,200 back into ads. Okay? At a 12,000 or a 12x return. It's not bad. Okay? And as long as that return stays the same, you're just putting money back in. Okay? Another example, Adam right here. $6,700 close with ads. Okay? One PIF right there. Okay? Another one, Jason. $20K this month just from ads. And all of this is not from ads. I want to make this clear. Yes, this is from ads, but this is not because of ads. This is because we nailed the messaging, because we really found out what these people, in my clients, in their irrespective niches, okay, what their prospects actually wanted, what actual pain points they had. Okay? So, I hope this makes sense. I hope you guys got some value from this. If you want to skip this whole data collection phase and understand exactly how to resonate with your niche properly, exactly what you have to be doing, okay? I have a data bank from my past hundreds of clients that I've used. You probably, in so many different niches, in dozens of different niches, okay? To run ads and help them get 30 plus meetings a month and scale to over 30K a month, and pretty much help clients do that. So if you want access to this data so that we can nail your messaging, okay, help you run these ads totally done for you, and help you get lots of meetings with people who have fully resonated with your messaging, and that you're not having to do this full objection handle, oh, I want to think about it, because you're trying to put a band-aid over a wound, okay, rather than just fixing the source of the wound, okay, then go down, book a call with me, and I'll walk you kind of through exactly what we do and how this kind of works. So I hope you got value today, and I hope that this was educational for you guys.